What's up, everybody? Good late afternoon or early evening for some of you. And we hit a little bit of a Seahawks milestone earlier today. The Seahawks have now burned through two-thirds of their top 30 visits that we know of. I'm assuming there are one or two that could potentially slip through the cracks and not get reported out by the official channels. But as far as we know, the Seahawks are now 20 visits deep into their top 30s. So pretty notable milestone. And their most recent top 30 scheduled visit was with a pretty high profile guy. So that's pretty exciting. He's a guy that I'm a pretty big fan of as well. I do like him. So I am certainly intrigued by the decision making of the team over this top 30 visit period. We have basically 10 days left before the draft, and we have 10 visits left. So we're going to work our way through those. Probably going to be mostly guys we've already discussed in some capacity, but they have the potential to surprise you. So, since the team is now two-thirds of the way done with their top 30 visits, I thought it'd be a good idea to go through the list here. Seahawks Wire has the list updated with the best and most recent knowledge. So, SeahawksWire.usatoday.com. You can check this list out here, but to scan over it real quick, most of this stuff we've known for a while. We have used a top 30 visit on the following players: Chop Robinson, Theo Johnson, Christian Boyd, Nathaniel Watson. I'm just going to quickly go over the guys that are old news and we've known about for a while now. Grayson Murphy, Malachi Corley, John Reese Plumley, Tyrese Knight, Bo Nix, Byron Murphy II, Tavondre Sweat, Jared Verse, Spencer Rattler, Travis Glover, Cameron Kinchins, Matt Goncalves, who I think might have been the guy I most recently spoke about in a video from a top 30 visit perspective back on the 9th. And then we kind of get to the guys who are new. Michael Dowell, the defensive back from Miami of Ohio. He was a guy that I spoke about in my most recent video before this one. Pretty low profile prospect, but yeah, Michael Dowell was in for the visit, which is why I took the time to talk about him for a couple minutes. Quantez Stiggers, the Toronto CFL cornerback, visiting with many teams, actually, so he is becoming a little bit of a hot commodity, and has genuine NFL skills. I know I talked about him in that video just a couple of hours ago, but I do want to stress this is not just a meme. He can actually play like an NFL cornerback. Mike Jarrell, very, very obscure. Findlay. I had one guy in the comments tell me where Findlay was. I think he said it was in Ohio, and they're the Trojans, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we did meet with Mike Jarrell, which is why I wanted to look up some stuff about him a little bit. And the most recent guy, and the guy who I find to be the most interesting of the recent visits, would be Cooper DeJean, in for a top 30 with the Seahawks. So that's exciting to me. He is, to me, a prime candidate for a small first-round trade back and then a pick. If the Seahawks decide to go that way, I'm open to it. I'm certainly open to it because I think he would fit in great, and I think he'd be a really good player for us. If you want to see what I thought about him in full, you can go back in my Draft Primer video series and talk about him a little bit. So, I spent it was probably 4 or 5 minutes on him, and my overall impressions of him are very positive, and some of my concerns about him were concerning his testing because he didn't test at the combine. His pro day was very good. Not quite hyper elite, but better than expected. I'll put it to you that way. So Cooper DeJean's becoming very interesting. So those are the 20 guys we've met with so far. We got 10 more visits to go. We also had these scouting combine visits where we met with Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Braylon Trice, Dallas Turner, Braden Fisk, Junior Colson, Marshawn Nealand, Johnny Newton, Chris Jenkins, Trevin Wallace, Byron Murphy again. So we've actually met with Byron Murphy twice. Jaheim Bell, Mike St. Ristel, J.J. McCarthy, Jaquan Jackson, Graham Barton, and Zach Zinter. One thing that's interesting to note, I guess, is that other than, of course, Braylon Trice, we're not meeting with any Washington Husky players, presumably because we have a guy in the building who knows the Huskies players, especially offensively, so well there's no real need to. So I think it is kind of interesting that even though a lot of people expect us to end up with at least one Washington Husky, probably on the offensive side of the ball in this draft, we're not meeting with them because there's no need to. We know everything we need to know about them. So that's who we are kicking the tires on. I always I do think it's worth pointing out that the Seattle Seahawks have like an 8% rate of drafting guys they had a top 30 visit with. According to the Hawks Nest, he actually did a recent study about this. I mean, when you think about it, you're meeting with 30 guys, and you're going to have, like, maybe, if you're lucky, 10 draft picks. And a lot of those picks are going to go to people you didn't meet with. So, at the end of the day, how could the rate be all that high? But at the same time, I think there is something to learn from all this. So, that's what's going on with the top 30 visits. We're 2/3 of the way through. A little bit of a milestone check-in. What do you think? How do you feel about these visits? I will be starting on big board work tomorrow. Sometime probably tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I will start posting up my big board stuff. The official final big board on Patreon and for my Tier 3 YouTube members. So keep an eye out for that if you're one of those two things. And the segmented big board will be posted in videos over the next week and a half. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Cooper DeJean, good to have you in Seattle for a little bit.